Okay, here we are in part 6. We're going to model the trigger guard and the handle. So that's essentially the sort of the lower back part of the gun. So let's turn off the cylinder. Let's go back into the body here. And we'll set up a template on here. And then we're going to put a box in off to the side and set the display on that. So what this will allow us to do, oh, and we're going to go shift minus, so we're not subdividing that yet. So you could position this with the handle tool. We could press W. The goal is to position it here. We could do all that by hand, but just having done the work, we can now just type in some numbers and 0.01, 0.38, and the center 0, negative 0.187, tab negative 0.0625. And we're going to rotate it around X, and we're going to go negative 6.5. And that rotates it in place, and we're going to do axis divisions of 5, 2, 2. So if we go B, if we're going to look at that here, we've got 5 divisions going along this direction, but only 2 going along this direction, and we'll use some edge loops to put some things in their proper position there. There we go. Okay. So using this as a guide, what we do is polygon edge loop, and we essentially want to put one loop here. Q, put one loop there, put one sort of there, one there, and one there, and we'll put another one just at the end there. And this, because that's an edge loop, you see that it's cut all the way across the geometry. Now, if we go to 2 point geometry, then what we can do is we can start to reshape this a little bit to match. So we're going to take this and go T and move those points down here. There we go there. And actually, we probably want these ones to be a little bit more over here. And this one sort of there. Okay. So now that we have that, let's go to this place here. And what we essentially want to do next is we're going to PolyBridge between this area here and this area here. So we're going to start by, let's press 4. We're going to label these 2 as our start. And we're going to go PolyBridge. Now it wants the destination polygons. We're going to pick this and this and press enter. Now that's not giving us what we want exactly right now. So we're going to add more divisions. And we're going to change that to curved, and that gives us a little bit more of what we want there. Okay, so actually, you know what? Maybe we'll go a little bit more. Let's add 20 in there. Now, once we've got that geometry in there, we want to set it up so that if we go to the pairing tab, we want this to use edge counts. And then if we go to the footings tab, and we want to set the depart to depart part along explicit direction. Under destination, we want to do along an explicit direction. Okay? Now, let's just make sure we've got that, the handle tool there. Okay, so now we've got that. We've got these two handles we can work with. And they'll allow us to come sort of out this way and out this way to get that shape. Now, if we go spacebar B, you can see how, and maybe W, you can see how we can start to shape this based on that, and we can even, go a little bit this way and so on. And, you may tinker with the magnitude, which is when you pull that there, you're dealing with the magnitude, which you can have some control over that. Next, we want to go to the Bridge tab, and we go to the thickness section, which is down here, and we're going to change the thickness to 0.5. So it immediately goes in a little bit. And then what we want to do is scale the ramp. And basically what we're going to do is going to click in here and go down, and click in there and go down. And so that creates that thickness there. And once we have that, then we can start to, really reshape this to be sort of what we expect this to be, to get it to line up with that shape. And that's looking pretty good right there. So if we go B and maybe go W, you'll see, okay, there we got the handle. Now, right now, it's very skinny. So what we want to do is clip it and then make some changes to it. So let's select all the geometry and go tab click, and we're going to cut that in half. And we're going to set the directions 1, 0, 0, and let's just put the origin at 0, 0. Okay, we're going to go B, and we're going to see there where it's very skinny. So if we go into here, we can go and press 2 to get point selection, and we can basically grab everything in the middle here. So all the points that are sort of in the middle. And we're going to go tab flatten. Now that does something weird, so let's change the direction to 1 tab 0 tab, and origin to 0.025. And essentially what that does is adds thickness there. And so if we go B, what you'll see is we've now got thickness there. It's still skinny this way, but we've got a little more thickness that way, which is great. And then we're going to go tab mirror, and that's going to get us back the original shape that we had, but it's all connected in properly. We're going to tab fuse, and we're going to fuse into there to get the look, to make sure everything's there. The mirror should consolidate it, but just to make absolute sure, we're going to add a fuse. So now the next thing we want to do is we're going to go set 4. We're going to select these 4 pieces here and delete them. And then we're going to go up here and select these 4 equivalents and delete them. And then we're going to 3, double click, and we're going to go, oh no, you know what, let's do this side first. Double click, and then we're going to go PolyBridge, double click, enter. There we go, we've closed that off, and keep division set to 1. So this creates a hole for the trigger, which we'll add in later. And so we're going to add a null node down here, and we're going to call this trigger guard out. Okay. And so now if we wanted to, let's bring the body down. And just sort of like we've done before, I think what we're going to do is we're going to add a merge node in here. Let's connect these two here. And let's take the these two out, and then we'll connect those in there. So that allows us our crease sort of there. So that adds that into the body, and that's looking pretty good. Now what we want to do is we want to work on the back to make the handle. So what we're going to do is we're going to off to the side, we're going to go tab polydraw and put that node down. Now we're doing it here so it doesn't really connect to anything. We'll figure that out in a second. Press spacebar B, spacebar B, spacebar B to go to here. And we're going to set the display flag on here, and we'll set the template flag on there. So now we can see what we've done so far, but we can begin to add to it. So if we're in polydraw, we're in draw mode. We can draw that and this. And we can just draw out a shape that we need for this. So we're sort of zigzagging back and forth as we draw this out. And then we go there, and we're going to middle click. Okay, so now that we have that, we don't actually want the inner pieces in here, so we're going to go with 3, and let's just go to the select tool, and we're going to go 3, and we're going to double click on the edge, and that gives us that outer edge, and we're going to go tab dissolve, and we're going to change some of the things. We're going to dissolve the non-selected, so everything in the middle, and collinearity tolerance, we're going to set that to 0. So what this did was it got rid of all the internal sort of edges. We don't need them for the moment. We're going to be modeling in a slightly different way. So if we go to press 4 to get face selection or primitive selection, we can now go poly extrude, and we're going to set an offset or an inset of 0.036, and that brings that in. And under extrusion, we're only going to bring out the front. So, we're only going to bring out. We're only going to bring out the side, not the front. So we get just basically this sort of frame here, but nothing inside. So now if we press N, we can poly extrude again. This time we're going to do it sort of in 3 dimensions. So we're going to go into here and pull that out. And in this case, we want to output the back. So we want to go a distance of 0.05. Okay, so that comes out and meets there. Now we're going to press N to get everything, and we're going to go tab match size. And in this case, we're going to set justify Y and Z to none. And so what this has done is it's just taken that thing we just poly extruded and centered it. So that's doing the job. And if we put a null on this, we go null and set the display flag. We can call that handle frame. Okay, so that's an extra piece of geometry there. So now one other little detail on this is we're going to go 3, select that, and just go T, and we're going to move that in. And we're going to basically move that in until we reach that point right there. So we're bringing that into there. Then we're going to go spacebar B, and we're going to go 4. So now we're going to take that, we're going to poly extrude out, and we're going to lift that up. And again, we can go, how far do we want to go up? We want to go up there. Actually, it looks like we would have been better to do this extruded front, because then this would bring it completely up. That would be better. And then we want to do divisions of 3. No, maybe do 4. Okay, so once we have that, we press 2. We're going to grab these points and we're going to start moving those in. And if we go W, we can trace off of there. So we can just get a feeling for that there. So there we go. And that's that shape right there. And if we go B, W, you're going to see what that shape looks like. Now, the next thing we're going to do is press 4, and we're going to select these 4 pieces there, and these 4 pieces here, and we're going to go poly extrude, and we're going to pull those out till they line up with the rest of the geometry there. So somewhere around there. Yeah, somewhere 0, 2, 3. Perfect. So now that we have that, what we want to do is go back to the original polydraw node that we did earlier on here. And we're going to, let's put a null object in here, and we're going to branch off from that. So in this case here, we're just seeing this. And if we want to, we can set the template flag on that if we want to watch that. So we've got this here. And what we're going to do is we are going to press N to select all the faces, poly extrude, and we're going to go a distance of, let's go somewhere around 0.05. Okay. So we have this here. So now let's press N to select everything. And we're going to do let's do another poly extrude. And this time we're going to do the distance of -0.0075. And that's just going to shrink the shape a little bit. And we just say, turn off the output side. And then we're going to take that whole shape. I'm going to go Tab, Transform. And we're going to move that Translate X to 0.025. 0.025, which moves it sort of out to the edge there, which is exactly what we want. Now, if we go B, and then we go to a front view here, what we can do is we can start to reshape this, again using points to get what we want here. So if we go to, we can grab points and start to reshape this. To get what we want. And we probably want to go W to just get a sense of that. So some of these can come out here as well. Okay, we'll leave that stuff. We'll go B, and you can sort of see, B, and we can go W to see, okay, that's being brought out there. And we might want to smooth it out a little bit. Smooth. So just make sure everything's feeling sort of smooth there. Is it a little bumpy here? Yes, that one could use a little bit out there. And maybe that one could come out a little bit. There we go. Now, once we've got that, we're going to go Tab, UV, Flatten. This is the one-piece geometry that we're going to need some UVs later, so we're going to do this to here, and it gives us this. If we go to the handle tool, you'll see what the UVs look like, so that's good. And then we're going to go Tab, Subdivide, and we're going to put that at the end. And we're going to just let that subdivide once. And that creates that shape there, which is good. And if we wanted to, we could go a little, just, yeah, smooth it a little bit more. Now, once we have that, we can go tab mirror, and we can mirror this around the main axis to get a second copy over there. And then we can add a null node, and we can call this one just straight up handle. So that's the handle. Oh, there's an underline there we don't need. Okay, so now we've got, and these ones don't need to be creased. So what we can do here is we can move these down, and so we want to organize these things together. So we want to bring down this merge, and then we also want to have a merge after this. And that will be things that don't need to be creased. So anything that doesn't need to be creased, and the main thing that doesn't need to be creased is the handle. And this part here, which is this part, we probably want to, let's just put this at the bottom of that. The handle frame, on the other hand, we do want to crease that. So we're going to feed that into the merge up here. And we can just press L on this to sort of organize that a little bit. And there we have our two merges, the merge up above and the merge down below. And if we do this, we see all of that geometry sort of there. Now, if we go back to the object level, we can do our Shift plus to get that feel, bring the cylinder. And again, you know, it's always good to just look at it and say, you know, are we getting what we want? Smooth shaded. Is this doing what we want? And right now it's got a nice look to it. There's the handle, the two handles, parts of the handle. Notice how that's got its own smoothing, its own subdividing, so it doesn't need that. There's the handle with a little bit of an indent for the trigger, and so on and so forth. So we're in pretty good shape here with this model so far. And the next step is going to be to do the actual trigger in here, the trigger, and to do the hammer, which is the part that comes out here, which you pull back to cock the gun. So there we go.